Hi, my name is Emily, and today we will be going over the concepts of intervention and remediation. Remediation, if you want to think about it, is just simply reteaching your student a concept. Maybe their wheels are turning, they just haven't had that light bulb moment, and going over a concept or vocabulary terms, having them write in their journal a term that's they're struggling with, maybe using it in a sentence and then illustrating it as a strategy of remediation. Intervention, on the other hand, is a little more structured and more intense, focus on the concept. This is certain students, for example, in literacy, if they aren't hitting benchmarks or not hitting certain progress monitoring scores, this is when we need to step in and use intervention. This can also, when your students there's no wheels turning, there's no hint of a light bulb turning on, they're completely clueless, they have no steps that they can connect. Intervention in this part would be great moments for literacy concepts to be introduced in a small group or in direct settings. Some assessments that could go with your reading would be simple as think, pair, and share. This activity would bring data of sharing concepts with other peers, ability to retell the concepts, and communication skills. You could do a comprehension test if you introduced a story over the week. You could give a comprehension test, which would show if your students are struggling with using the vocabulary or vocabulary from the story in a test form, and seeing if they're able to recall the important points of the story. A technology-based assessment would be STAR. This is used in a lot of districts. This is more of a broad assessment, almost to see multiple concepts such as comprehension, knowledge of vocabulary, previous knowledge of literacy concepts, and to see how advanced that student is already in literacy concepts. Two reading remediation resources that I found that are very successful are Really Great Reading and Lilo. Really Great Reading has tons of resources such as phoneme tiles. They break down the word a lot. They have slideshows. They have paper assessments, paper worksheets, decodable books. It is completely filled with different resources that are going to fit your students' diverse needs. Lilo is a great technology reading resource. It is individualized based on the student's level. So if your student is struggling and at a very low level, it has resources to meet them. If your student is advanced, it has options to challenge them so they're not becoming bored with the same reading resources. For Really Great Reading, you can use them in multiple settings. You can use them you could use that resource in a small group. If you have multiple students in your class that are struggling with the same concept, you could do a small group. Lilo, like I said, is an independent resource, and this is great for individualizing, focusing on certain concepts that fit the needs of your student. Really Great Reading can also be used in a whole group setting. Your whole class can participate. It's great for carpet time. Same thing with if you had a Haggerty lesson, you could lead that right into Really Great Reading as well. Two reading remediation strategies that I've seen successful it's called finger stretch. So if you have the word squirt, that is going to be it's going to hit on a few concepts of phonics. For example, it has a 3-letter blend, which is SQU. So you would tell your students the blend and you would go squirt. Let's finger stretch. Squirt. Squirt. And you would do it, they would do it, and then you would do it together. This is helping segment words with just your hands. Students can, once they get the hang of this, you can even see them do this while they're reading, when they're doing phonics worksheets, you can see them segmenting words. Another strategy would be to use a whiteboard with magnet tiles. So you would have 3 magnet tiles, and when you would say the phoneme, you would move the tile up. So you would go t, and when you blend it, you would say squirts, and you would underline all 3 tiles. It's cool to use different tiles too, like if you want to use red tiles for blends, if you want to use a blue tile for a digraph, which is 2 letters that come together, which is the IR blend or IR digraph. You could also use some like questioning, like what is the medial sound? What is the beginning sound? What if we delete this? What if we add this? So this is just like a basic strategy that can be broken down and interchangeable to fit whatever small group concept you're working on. The results that these strategies would bring would segmenting words, isolating medial phonemes, like I said, the IR, the 3-letter blend, identifying blends. You can have a kind of a fun competition of who can identify the blend first. Some at-home reading remediation strategies that I would encourage my students to do is read a book to your grown-up at home, pair reading with your parent. At home, you could take a book, you could send the child with a book, and they would read it, and then their parent would read a page. The student would read a page, the parent would read a page. Decodable readers would be a great use in that area. The data that they could bring home when you give a decodable book, when they read it to their grown-up, the grown-up could highlight or circle any word that they're struggling with, and you can kind of see if there's any phonic rules that, or blends, or segmenting issues that are coming about that. Also, a good example of visual is a fluency passage. It has a 4-day record, so you could take this home with your parents or to the parents. You could tell your students if they read this, then they get a prize, a dojo point. They get a chance in the cookie jar or the candy jar, a desk pet, and you record it so you can see how much better or if there's any progress in each day. And then there's 2 comprehension pages or 2 comprehension questions to collect data if they're actually comprehending or if they're just trying to read as many words as they can possible. Reading should be also made fun, especially when students are struggling. So just be intentional with your strategies and letting your student know that they're there to support them will make all the difference. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.